It's all local, all weekend, condensed into just about a half hour. It's the Weekend Review, and I'm FOX54 News anchor Kanisha Dees. Here's what's coming your way this weekend. A service that keeps young people engaged with their community and out of trouble finds itself in trouble. We'll look into the problems putting Big Brothers Big Sisters Tennessee Valley's program in a state of crisis. The heat is on, both on the pavement and in your backyard grills. We're looking into the safety measures you should take with both in order to continue enjoying fun in the summer sun. And in the latest edition of Food for Thought, Ken McCoy visits an award-winning dough slinger who really knows how to master the art of the pie at his own Madison restaurant. All of that and more still ahead. But as we start off with last Friday's coverage, we reported on a home burglary that escalated into a standoff situation. The first of two such incidents you'll hear about this weekend. Let's rewind. Authorities say two suspects are in custody and have been identified. It's after a call about a suspected burglary led to one of the suspects barricading themselves inside a bathroom at a park. Our Ken McCoy has a recap of what led to the incident.
Huntsville police say a burglary call turned into a small chase that led to a standoff in the Bailey Cove area earlier this morning. 23-year-old Daniel Fain and 51-year-old Charlotte Van Houten will both be charged with second-degree burglary. Huntsville Police Deputy Chief Michael Johnson shared officers spotted the vehicle going northbound on Bailey Cove Road and attempted to make a traffic stop.
So just before 9 a.m., we got a call from a citizen in a neighborhood here south on Bailey Cove, the south end, one of those neighborhoods, that there was a possible burglary going on. There was a suspicious vehicle and or persons at this residence. The car did not stop immediately. When the car finally stopped, the officer took the driver into custody. Passenger fled to a bathroom of a park at Willow Park. The male was the passenger and the driver was a female.
Van Houten was taken into custody. As for Fain, officers had reason to believe a gun had been stolen at the time of burglary. After barricading himself inside the restroom at Willow Park, efforts began to get him out safely. Negotiators were called in to help get the suspect out, with Chief Johnson sharing that SWAT was also on standby.
There has not been any gunshots. We have not seen a weapon, but we're going to have due diligence and make sure that we keep our officers safe and the neighborhood safe.
Fain is currently in the hospital due to a medical condition unrelated to the arrest. It is unknown when he will be released. In Huntsville, Ken McCoy.
Colbert County Sheriff's Office identified a burglary suspect with a not-so-usual getaway method, and now they need your help to find him. Here he is. The Sheriff's Office identified this suspect as Brady Thornton. Last month, authorities say they got a call of a burglary in the Riverton Rose Trail community. When deputies arrived, it was discovered that a home had been broken into and several items were taken and surveillance video captured those images of Thornton and the unusual way he left the scene. He took a kayak to get away on the Tennessee River. Authorities believe Thornton is staying in the Waterloo area of Lauderdale County. Anyone with any information is asked to report it to 256-314-5839.
Where 16 people have been displaced after a fire at a Florence apartment complex. Florence Fire and Rescue say that several units were called to Heatherwood Apartments on Mars Hill Road just before midnight Friday night. Once on the scene, they found flames shooting through the roof of a two-story, 4-unit building. All 4 of the units were heavily damaged from fire, smoke, and water. Thankfully, no injuries were reported. The cause of the fire is under investigation. All right, 2 people were indicted this week for a deadly dog attack that killed a 2-year-old child back in New Hope in March. Court documents filed Friday show an indictment was made by a grand jury against Melissa White Phillips and Jeffrey Phillips. Investigators say the pair owned 3 dogs suspected in the attack that killed the child. One of the dogs was reportedly involved in another attack. Melissa Phillips has since posted bond. Jeffrey Phillips is currently ill in the hospital, but deputies say he will be taken into jail once released.
When you have dogs like this, you have to take care of them. You got to do the right thing. You got to be responsible for them. And this was a terrible, terrible, tragic situation that should have never happened. And we're thankful for this law that provides us with the necessary tools to make sure that this doesn't happen to another child.
The law Brent Patterson referenced just now is the Alabama Title Code 3, which says in part that a dog owner can be held liable for a Class A misdemeanor if a dog previously found to be dangerous is involved in another incident. All right, well, NASA landing in Big Spring Park today for the Marshall Space Flight Center's annual NASA in the Park event. Marshall teamed up with Downtown Huntsville Incorporated to give something for everyone to enjoy, from space exhibits to music, food, and more. It's all to celebrate space and the Rocket City by bringing the community's hard work outside of the Redstone Arsenal gates. We spoke with one attendee who had a truly out-of-this-world experience. Take a listen.
From what I've seen, I think it's pretty cool. That thing, I don't know. Saw a pretty weird group walk by, like people in our silver dresses. I think you've seen them blue hair, that stuff.
The Space Flight Center's director, Joseph Preffery, shared that the Rocket City's community has helped Marshalls push the boundaries in science and engineering for nearly 65 years.
We start with a story that impacts each and every one of us, but it's something you might not think about until you need it in an emergency. It's your car's airbags.
A decade ago, the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration began recalling airbags made by the company Takata. More than 67 million Takata airbags were recalled from 19 automakers because of the potential for explosions when deployed. Patrick Olson with Carfax explains how this turns a safety precaution into something potentially fatal.
These airbags have chemicals in a certain mixture that, when exposed over time to heat and humidity, moisture develops inside these chemicals, so that when the car gets hit and they explode with a lot more force than anyone had anticipated. That can turn the metal ring around the airbag into shrapnel, literally flying pieces of metal that can enter the cabin of the car.
Faulty airbags were attributed to at least 27 deaths and 400 injuries, according to data from the NHTSA. This is a particular concern for Alabamians for two related reasons. According to Carfax, approximately 151,000 Alabama cars with recalled airbags are still on the road. That's the 14th highest total in the country. And the Yellowhammer State is one of 14 states and territories deemed Zone A locations because of high heat and humidity.
To me, Alabama is one of those places that's really in danger. The more exposure to heat, more exposure to humidity, the more volatile those chemicals can get.
And because this is a decade-old recall, the cars most likely to be impacted are 20 or so model years old, so their parts are more likely to be out of date.
Cars that are this old are very often in the hands of new drivers, first-time drivers, college students, people who, frankly, haven't had much experience with cars and may not be aware that these recalls exist at all.
Here's what you can do to make sure your car is up to date on all recalls. Use the NHTSA's recall search tool and see if anything affects your car's make and model. You can also sign up for email alerts. And if your ride's got a recalled part, get it fixed.
Call your local dealership. It won't take more than an hour to 2 hour tops to replace it, and they will do the work completely for free for you. So you can save the life of a family member, or you can save your own life by getting this free work done now.
One local softball league wrapping up its spring season today. Huntsville's Nexus League had several teams battling it out at John Hunt Park for a chance to play in the International Pride softball tournament. Established in 2021, the league aims to provide a safe and fun environment for all LGBTQ plus people and their allies. We spoke with Huntsville Nexus board members who shared how important this inclusive community is, especially during Pride Month.
So what's really important here is that we're providing a place for players, people of our community to come out and play sports, potentially in an environment where they didn't necessarily feel included their whole lives. They can come here and bring their authentic self.
This is the first time we've been playing during Pride Month, so it's been really great to have a weekend thing for us to do where we're going to be surrounded by other people like us, allies, community members, and be in a safe and inclusive environment.
If you're interested in joining the league, tryouts for its fall season begins in August.
All right, thank you, Jordan. We do have details on that standoff from earlier today in Southwest Huntsville. That suspect is in custody. Huntsville police identified the suspect as 36-year-old Brian Edwards from Huntsville. HPD officials say the department assisted the U.S. Marshals Service in executing at least one felony warrant on the 13900 block of Wyandotte Drive around 3 p.m. Authorities said nearly an hour and a half later, the situation ended without violence. Edwards has 9 charges, 5 felonies and 9 misdemeanors, including drug and weapons charges. Police say he is not the owner of the house he was apprehended in. More out of Madison County. We do want to warn you, the information you're about to hear is disturbing. This is John Kovach, the now former executive director of the nonprofit Singing River Trail. Authorities say Kovach was arrested and charged with 6 counts related to child pornography. Madison County Sheriff's Office searched his home and said the warrant was a result of an ongoing investigation led by the Alabama ICAC task force. His bond set at $100,000 and he has since been released. Now, the board of the Singing River Trail Development confirmed in a statement they are beginning the process of separating Dr. Kovach from the organization. Kovach's profile has been scrubbed from their website. More details on this story are available at FOX54.com. In the city of Decatur, with a look at what happened at tonight's city council work session, some of those discussions was about the mayor. Trust between the Decatur City Council and the community has been strained following the death of Steve Perkins by former Decatur police officer Mac Marquette. More anger was directed toward Mayor Tap Bowling, who left prior to the public comment portion. His absence at many meetings, speakers said, is evidence of ineffective leadership, prompting more calls for him to vacate office prior to his retirement next year.
We don't trust Tad in any way. We don't trust his decisions. We don't like his opinions. They're never right. He doesn't have integrity. So how do you all feel knowing the position that he's been in for the last 8 months of leaving public comment, not going to the state of the city?
All right, well, a third-party review of Decatur police policies and procedures that was suggested by Council Chair Jacob Latner last month has yet to find a place on upcoming council agendas. We can think of many different ways to say it's hot right about now, but it's more than us who need to stay cool under the sun. Our new Fox 54 reporter, Gabe Glassman, gives a few tips to help your pets beat the heat.
Normal dog body temperature is around 100, 101, 102. Anything once it gets over 102 can cause severe damage to the animal.
Summer is in full swing and temperatures are rapidly rising. People are looking to cool off themselves, but also their pets.
He already likes jumping in the pool on his own, so that's a big plus that the dog parks here have that.
Here are some signs if your pet is starting to get too hot.
You'll notice if they get overheated, they're going to pant like crazy.
PETA reported more than 160 heat-related deaths to pets in 2023 and more than 850 rescues.
They can get way overheated in their body temperature, hard to bring back down, can cause a lot of severe medical damage to them if they get so overheated.
And even if you go into a store for 15 minutes and you leave your pet inside that turned-off car, it can be extremely dangerous. To show you, we left a thermometer in a turned-off car for 15 minutes. It started at around 85 degrees, and after the short amount of time, it raised to over 115.
Even if you crack the windows, you might be running in for 5 minutes, you think, or not, but with this extreme temperature, inside the car is going to probably get up to 150 degrees.
You also need to be careful if you're taking your pets on walks during the day. High temperatures to paws can also cause serious damage.
Every now and then get his paws wet because that's where they sweat from. So just get their paws wet with some cool water.
And instead of walking on concrete or pavement,
maybe staying in a shaded area or walking in the grass, like I said, or maybe get some little feet covers to go on their feet.
In Huntsville, I'm Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
You may not know this, but some of the best pizza in the world comes right out of North Alabama, right here. Joe Carlucci, the owner of Valentina's Pizzeria in Madison, was named the best pizza maker in the world at the Pizza Expo in March. Our Ken McCoy got a chance to meet the chef in this Food for Thought.
My sister was dating a guy that owned a pizzeria when I was in high school.
Well, siblings are good for something.
And I wanted a job, so they started me off washing dishes, and I worked my way up the ladder, and then the rest is history.
In this Food for Thought, we take a trip to the award-winning Valentina's Pizzeria and Wine Bar. Now, let's meet the chef.
We opened in 2020, and in 2024, December, we moved to this new location. I'd like to say we're like the Chick-fil-A of pizza because all we serve is pizza and some appetizers, and we do some different styles of pizza from cracker thin, Chicago style, to Sicilian, Detroit, cauliflower, and of course New York style. When you walk in, it's like going into a house, a family house, Italian house. We have one of the best staffs around. They make this restaurant and they make Valentina's what it is. I'm just the pizza guy. My staff is 1,000% the reason that I am successful.
In my short time spent with Joe, I learned that pizza is more than ingredients.
It's not just flour, water, and yeast. It's a craft. It's techniques. And you have to really love what you do. 9 out of 10 people get up in the morning on Monday, hate what they're doing. Even though I'm off Mondays, on Tuesdays I love getting up and I love what I do. And I always want to be better at it, and I love teaching and mentoring people that want to learn and be better.
And the name behind the restaurant might tug on your heartstrings.
My air, my breath, my world, my heart is my daughter. And that's why it's named after her. She brings a level of joy, excitement, happiness. 11 years old, coming in, smiling, getting dough, playing with the young kids. It's a blessing when she's here.
Now, let's talk about the food.
I would say the meatballs, they're grandma's recipe, and people love them. They're out of this world. As far as appetizers, 1,000% you have to try our meatballs. And then as far as pizzas, my daughter and I are just cheese people. We love a good cheese pie. But the Cameroni seems to be taking on another level of favoritism with the customers. It's a old world pepperoni, a cup and char pepperoni with a house-made ricotta with a drizzle of hot honey. And right now, we can't keep it in-house.
The last thing I learned from Joe was all about comfort.
Pizza is that one comfort food across America, across the world. Anywhere you go in the world, you can get pizza. Anywhere. We try to emphasize that, we're not doctors, we're not rocket scientists, we're pizza makers. We're trying to do the best we can and make the best product, and that's what we want to do.
All right, guys, so the Cameroni was delicious. If you want some great pizza with some great atmosphere, head down to Valentina's Pizzeria and Wine Bar. But until next time, this has been Kim McCoy, Food for Thought.
All right, the city of Huntsville with a reminder we're days away from the city enforcing the hands-free ordinance. This means you can get pulled over and get a ticket for holding a cell phone or device while driving. It's effective July 1st. The city said this revised ordinance increased violations from a secondary to a primary offense. Today, Huntsville Council President David Little spoke on why this is so important.
Don't want to talk about enforcement. Instead, I want to talk about the goal of the city's updated ordinance, which is simple but powerful. And that is to foster a culture of personal responsibility when it comes to traffic safety. We want every driver to understand that their actions behind the wheel have direct consequences, not just for themselves, but for everyone around them.
All right, well, the ordinance goes into effect exactly 1 month after Alabama's hands-free ordinance, which went into effect June 1st. The United Way of Madison County and Alabama A&M University are helping local communities by initiating a survey. Food insecurity, housing shortages, and adequate educational resources are just a few things they hope to address in the Madison County area. Our Ken McCoy has the story.
So we do this every 3 years. And in fact, we've seen as the community grows some trends.
Trends can illustrate some useful information. For instance, what a community really needs.
So trends in challenges with housing and the attainability of housing for everybody. We've seen challenges in our achievement gap for our children between children of color and primary Caucasian population.
But as the times have changed, so have the questions.
We're seeing a trend that as life gets more complex and challenges kind of layer in on people. So those were things that in 22, when we put our finger on the pulse last time and we said, what's happening? This is what we saw. And the question that the needs assessment this time will answer, are those still the greatest needs in our community?
The United Way is nearing the end of their community needs assessment survey period.
We're working with a great research team from Alabama A&M's RISE Foundation, and they are crunching all the numbers and collecting this data on our behalf. But we are the champions in the community that say, let's understand the needs so we can pull together and bring some solutions to those needs.
And no need is left unaddressed.
On the survey, we are making some suggestions of things that we know people see in the community, but we have an other blank so that folks can put in what they're seeing. Because, you know, if you live in Madison, if you live in Gurley, if you live somewhere in Madison County, you're encountering people that come and ask you for help and you don't know where to turn or you don't know if there's anything available. If you hear that, that's what we want to hear.
And taking the survey takes less than 10 minutes.
We have a couple of social work interns here from Alabama A&M, and they can call them back at their convenience and do that interview and record their voice. We have a QR code. These posters are throughout the community, but this is also on our website at uwmadisoncounty.org. There's a link to take the survey and a link to sign up for the focus groups, so you can see all the dates and times for those focus groups. So there's lots of easy ways.
In Huntsville, Ken McCoy, FOX54 News.
It's almost Independence Day, and soon people will be lighting the night sky with fireworks and breaking out the barbecues. Our Gabe Glassman is here to remind people to be safe when using a grill.
July 4th is next week, believe it or not, and many of you are going to be breaking out one of these guys, a grill. But before the hot dogs and hamburgers go on, it's important to remember a few safety tips.
I just want to make sure that everybody has a safe 4th of July and everybody enjoys it.
It's a holiday everyone looks forward to each year, and many people are excited for the food.
This time of year, more people are going to be using grills and having outdoor activities and stuff.
But it's important to be cautious before lighting up the grill. The NFPA says gas grills lead to around 9,000 house fires a year, with numbers peaking in July.
One gust of wind, or you've got a flammable object close enough, it's instantaneous.
One big tip is always leaving enough room between your house and the grill.
You definitely want to keep your grill at least 10 to 15 feet away from your house. Having it right up against your house, if you have a flame up, it can get up into your eaves and you can get fire into your attic pretty quickly. But definitely want to keep the grill as far away from your house as possible.
Another big key to keeping risk down, keeping it clean.
Make sure that you're cleaning your grill, even if it's just taking a grill brush and brushing it off.
A lot of our grill fires will start from having leftover fats and trash and stuff in the grill.
We've all done it before where our grill is, probably not as clean as we'd like it to be, and we've used it a bunch, especially with the great weather we've been having. But yeah, that grease can really build up and it can flame up and it can cause some pretty bad damage.
Make sure you've got a good clean grill to start your cooking season with.
If you're manning the grill, make sure you don't leave it alone.
You never want to leave a grill unattended.
Make sure if there's any kids around, make sure they're not close enough to get burned.
And finally, when it's time for the kitchen to close.
If you got a gas grill, obviously make sure you shut the gas off. If you got charcoal, just make sure that you're checking those coals every once in a while, and try not to go to sleep with, a really hot bed of coals.
For Fox 54 News, I'm Gabe Glassman.
Artfully North Alabama is back for another summer. We debuted this series last year, highlighting unique artists across the Tennessee Valley. And tonight, this artist you're about to meet has no bounds. But fashion design is what we'll spotlight, and how she does it is what's turning heads. Here's a look. At Studio 309.
I'm looking for, this is what I'm looking for.
Nestled in Huntsville's Low Mill is Willette Tate.
I call myself a creative.
Almost anything is her canvas. Paper mache, paintings. She's done it. But she has a certain flair for fashion.
This one is called Hot Thing, from Prince's song Hot Thing.
This is one of her signature pieces.
This is part of the Prince series. This one actually walked in Paris Fashion Week.
A braided piece that's a style for your head.
Why can't we wear hair?
And also turns heads.
It serves the same purpose as fur, and we have more control over what it looked like.
And if you haven't noticed, Tate's a fan.
Of course it's Prince.
And the late legendary artist is part of her inspiration. It's during that prime era of Prince where she got her start.
I got into fashion in the 80s as a model hairdresser.
Fast forward to 2009 at Low Mill.
I've been here ever since, and I'm known as the tie lady because my first collection is done out of neckties.
There's a trade to her talent.
So I learned how to reappropriate everything from laundry detergent to, it was just the way of life.
It's called upcycling.
I upcycle where I can, but if something different or new or something that is inspirational, I'm open to that also.
It's the hues that work for her.
Popular colors and ties. You learn that when you're collecting ties.
This is her first piece.
It's a duster made out of red ties. It's called Fire.
Tate, a creative, not limited by her many trades. Her tip:
don't fear your gifts. You are the only you that will ever be and has ever been. So if you don't use it, not only will you lose it, but we won't have the experience of having seen it.
That's some good advice. Well, I asked Willette what's next. She tells me she plans to conduct a master class next month on modeling and photography. And next month, we'll highlight our next local artist. This summer, you may find yourself gathering around the campfire, but you may not know what kinds of fires are allowed in Alabama this time of year. Our Gabe Glassman breaks down the ongoing burn ban that's affecting counties in the Tennessee Valley.
There is a set time of the year where people can't burn vegetation.
From May 1st to October 31st, there's a burn ban in those counties, so it prohibits any type of vegetative burning in those areas.
Set by the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, these 12 counties, including Madison and Morgan, have to stick to the guidelines.
As you can tell, it's been super hot outside. It's been very dry. So as you're doing land clearing or any sort of waste disposal, there's the potential for those fires to get out of control.
With the temperatures that we experience during this time of year, the smoke from burning vegetation can cause poor air quality in those counties.
One of the biggest questions asked, why the burn ban is even in place.
The burn ban is important because obviously you want to protect air quality.
To prevent any sort of unnecessary fires that could result from high winds and dry conditions.
With those counties that are affected by the burn ban, when we have large land clearing burns and stuff like that, it does become a challenge to air quality. So obviously we want to make sure that air quality is maintained throughout the summertime.
And while we are in a state of no vegetative burning, your campfire is not currently affected.
Anything that's in a controlled pit, such as a campfire, is allowed.
It does not affect, campfires, grills, those types of things. Any type of contained fire like that you're using for cooking or otherwise outdoor enjoyment. If you're having a fire pit, with a couple of logs of wood, that type of thing for outdoors, summertime enjoyment, then that's a little bit different.
So what does the burn ban not allow?
Brush piles, piles of trees, trash, anything that you can pretty much pile up and light on fire is to be steered away from.
And if anyone were to violate the burn ban?
As far as penalty goes, those are handled by ADEM, but ADEM can come out and they can cite you for that.
Volunteer Fire Department is warning of an increase in people setting others' trash on fire. Look at this video we're sharing from one of our co-workers in Harvest last week. This is a trash can on fire. Harvest Volunteer Fire Department says it was a mixture of debris and random garbage with an accelerant used to ignite the flame. They also say they received another call about a trash can on fire last week. We learned potential dangers of lighting trash on fire.
Whatever you're burning could potentially explode or harm you in that sort of way. We're a department that responds to everything from medical calls to wrecks to fires to rescues. So going out for a nuisance fire like that ties up our resources.
All right, for more information about this, visit our website. Us tonight, I'm Kenesha Dees. For 40 years, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of the Tennessee Valley has been shaping young men and women to become the best versions of themselves. But now, the org is asking you, the community, to help keep its doors open. Our Ken McCoy has the story.
For Big,
it's really great to see their face light up.
The gift of a smile.
They just get excited that they finally have someone that's dedicated just to them.
Can be rewarding.
We've had littles that have come in doing really poorly on schoolwork, and then with the help of their big brother or big sister, they've done so much better in schoolwork. They're excelling in classes.
And for a little,
I just know that sometimes kids need a little extra support, so it's always good to have an extra person.
That connection could make a world of difference.
This program really makes a difference in a child's life, and that it's something that the community needs.
Big Brothers and Big Sisters of the Tennessee Valley is going through a rough patch.
We are now fully staffed. We had grant money last year that allowed us to become fully staffed. Some of the money was not going to be refundable for the next year. So we staffed up. Then we provide medical and dental insurance for our employees.
And that came with some unforeseen setbacks.
Now everybody is on our insurance, and we're glad that they are. But naturally, there's costs associated with that. We had a golf tournament, and that golf tournament went well, but it didn't produce the number of participants that we needed. We were expecting a big grant that seemed to be a sure thing for us, but at the very last minute, the grant fell through. So that put us in kind of dire circumstances.
With staff adjustments,
we're staggering our staff to keep the doors open.
They are hoping to get the support they need in other ways.
We are fundraising like crazy everywhere that we can. We're reaching out. We have a Facebook page. We also have a GoFundMe ongoing. There's no gift that's too small for us to accept.
Big Brothers Big Sisters is a part of Huntsville.
We've been here for 40 years. We're taking young people that need a mentor in their life. We are developing well-educated and confident young people that will be a benefit and a good citizen in this society.
In Huntsville, Ken McCoy, Fox 54 News.
Thursday marked the first presidential debate of the 2024 election cycle. Fox 54 had live reaction from several watch parties across North Alabama and Alabama party leaders. We also verified some of the stats candidates Donald Trump and Joe Biden put out. Catch up with all that information at fox54.com. Until then, keep the Fox 54 mobile app on hand for breaking news wherever you go. We'll see you right here next weekend. For another edition of the Weekend Review, I'm Kenesha Dees. See you next time.